Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome to Post to Post. My name is Neil, thanks for joining me today, and we're going to talk some Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Montreal Canadiens. Now let me just get this out of the way for anyone that's new, because sometimes these videos attract new people. If you're new, hello, thanks for joining, consider hitting the subscribe button. But just to get this out of the way, I am a Montreal Canadiens fan, but I'm going to be extremely objective and fair about my analysis, I think, of this series coming up. So if you're a Leafs fan watching this, and you think I'm just going to be like completely biased for Montreal, stick around. You might be surprised. Okay, so what I'd like to do is preface this series by going over some stats, and I'm going to do this for all the series. I'm not just talking Montreal and Toronto on this channel. I'm doing a prediction, a video for every single series. We're going to do series recaps on the channel as well. We're going to talk full playoff hockey for the next couple of months. But I want to start off each video, this being the first, talking a little bit about statistics and comparing the team, and then we can kind of walk through some opinions on what I think is going to happen and what I think may not happen. So let's do a little comparison now. Toronto versus Montreal so far this season. Now I've added these up, or I've put down these statistics based on as I'm filming this. I believe Toronto still has 2 games left and Montreal still has 1 game left. So if you're watching this in the future, just remember that. Toronto Maple Leafs, 35 wins. Montreal Canadiens, 24 wins. So 11 more wins for the Maple Leafs. Toronto, 13 losses against Montreal's 21 losses. Switch over to OT. Toronto, 6. Montreal, 10. Wow. Montreal's actually quite high there, near the top in the league, top 5, I think, actually. Points, 76 for the Maple Leafs, 58 for the Montreal Canadiens. Huge gap. Goals for 182 for the Maple Leafs and 156 for the Canadiens. Big discrepancy there. Goals against 140 for the Maple Leafs, which is excellent. Montreal 164, not so great. Power play 20.3% for the Maple Leafs, which is a little bit low. I actually, I don't track stats in my head, super consistently, especially not the Maple Leafs. But I would have just assumed that they would have been higher, maybe around 24%, but they're at 20.3, which is a little surprising. Now, Montreal at 19.3 is very similar. They're basically in the same family there. That one doesn't really shock me. Now, Montreal is a very good 5-on-5 team, so 19.3 is maybe just slightly higher than I thought they would be, but interesting to see that both of those teams are, they basically have the exact same power play as far as percentage. Penalty kill, 77.7 for the Maple Leafs and 79.3 for the Canadiens. So actually, of all the statistics that we just talked about, that penalty kill is the only one that Montreal is better than or higher than Toronto. So it's not good. Statistically, not good for Montreal. Now, I'm probably going to talk a little bit more in depth about all of the other series because I feel like there are good storylines. As a Canadiens fan, you'd think that I would be very passionate to talk for 30-40 minutes about this potential series, but I feel let down, to be completely honest. I envisioned the next time that the Montreal Canadiens play the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs, it would be against 2 teams that are competitive, and they would just, they would battle it out. The best team wins. And if Montreal wins, Montreal earned the bragging rights. If the Maple Leafs won, man, they earned the bragging rights, and they can throw it in the Canadiens' face. This isn't that, guys. This isn't even David versus Goliath. Montreal is not even on the same playing field as the Maple Leafs. I'm really disappointed because if my team is going to face the Maple Leafs, I want to watch a series that's going to go 6-7 games and be intense. And if you lose at the end of the day, you gave it the best shot, and you gave them a run for the money, and it was awesome. That's not going to be what this is, in my opinion. It's going to be a slaughter fest for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I don't know, it's just disappointing. I wanted them to play each other in the future sometime, but not like this. Not like this, guys. I wanted it to be super tight. So, with that said, I'm just going to get my prediction out of the way. I'm predicting Toronto in 5. I do think the Montreal Canadiens do have the ability to pull 1 game, at the very most 2. So, worst case scenario for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they win in 6. But it could be a sweep, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. But with all that said, there's just some takeaways that could breathe life into the Montreal Canadiens. So let's just see what does Toronto have to do to shut down Montreal? Well, not much, but there are a couple of factors, and it really comes down to 3 players, in my opinion. You don't really need to worry about Carey Price because Carey Price is just getting off an injury. And even if Carey Price wasn't getting off an injury, Carey Price is not Carey Price from 2014. We have 2021 Carey Price, or 2020 Carey Price, or 2019 Carey Price, which is extremely inconsistent Carey Price, which is unreliable Carey Price, and which is, I don't know what Carey Price I'm going to get from night to night. He might have an amazing game, and he might let in 8 goals. You just don't know. And for that reason, don't worry about him. It's not a big issue. Weber is having a disastrous year, and some of these players, like I'm going to talk about, they're coming back from injury. I don't know if it's completely confirmed that they're going to play game 1 or not. I'm not entirely sure. We've got Gallagher and Weber, and there's a bunch of stuff going on, but I don't think you need to worry about Weber. He's getting older, he's getting slower, he's not shooting as much, and he's making a lot of mistakes. You don't need to worry about Weber. You have got Jake Allen, who could potentially play net, and Jake has played very well for the Montreal Canadiens this year. He's been one of their best players, but even then, Jake Allen cannot make up for the Canadiens' inability to play the rest of their game. So even though Jake Allen has played very well, you're still going to be able to put pucks behind him. And I say that as Jake Allen. Jake Allen's my favorite player in the entire NHL. So again, I'm trying to be objective here. The 3 players that I think the Toronto Maple Leafs need to concentrate on are the only ones that can score on the team, basically, because as we know, Montreal has a difficult time putting the puck in the back of the net. So that means I'm talking about Caulfield, Suzuki, and Toffoli. Now, I think 2 of the 3 of those are going to be very easy. No, I would say one of those players is going to be very easy. Let's say that. No offense to Tyler Toffoli. I really like him, but he's not going to be a difficult player to shut down. You could probably put whatever roster player on the Maple Leafs out there to shut him down, and they will do just fine. Tyler Toffoli is a very good goal scorer. I don't know what he is outside of that. Not the best defensive player, not the best player in his own end, so it won't be hard to shut down Toffoli. So let's move on to Suzuki. Now, Suzuki, I think, is probably the one that you have to worry about the most. He is the one that can back check, he can play defensively, and he can turn it on and do some special things. So if the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be concerned of any aspect of the Montreal Canadiens game or any individual player, I think it's got to be Suzuki. So you put someone on Suzuki who's fast and who can shut him down and frustrate him. But even if you try and frustrate him, I just don't see that from Suzuki. He's not a player that loses his cool or gets angry. Just stay on him and shut him down, and I think you'll be totally fine. Now, the little elephant in the room is Caulfield. Caulfield is... It's kind of unpredictable. He's only played a couple of games in the NHL. We've never seen him in the playoffs, and we've never seen him at this high of a level against players this big. As you know, to put it bluntly, he's a small guy. It's going to be a physical series, not as physical as a lot of the other ones, but it's Toronto versus Montreal. It's going to be physical. I don't think the Maple Leafs should worry about Caulfield, and what I mean by that is, let him skate around and do his thing. You're not going to catch him. You're just not going to catch Caulfield, okay? Just let him do his thing. He's an amazing stick handler. He's got a wonderful shot. But if you take the attention and put it against the rest of the line, the other 4 players on the ice, Cole Caulfield is not going to drag this team into the second round by himself. It's just not going to happen. And the Maple Leafs are very good in net. So even if you let Caulfield skate around and do his thing, chances are it's still not going to go in. So I think they should just let Caulfield just go and skate around and burn his energy, basically. Just let him go and just burn his energy and really concentrate on taking away the passes and shutting down the rest of the players on his line, whoever he ends up playing with. That's what I would personally do. I'm not saying just completely leave him alone and totally ignore him, but I'm just saying don't shadow him to death is kind of what I'm getting at. Because I think the Montreal Canadiens expect the Maple Leafs to do that. So I would try and be unpredictable in that sense if I was the Maple Leafs. But what do I know? I make videos on YouTube. So there you go. Now on the Montreal Canadiens side, what do they have to do to shut down Toronto? What could be the glimmer of hope that could potentially get the Canadiens into the second round? There's nothing you can do about goaltending. Campbell has been amazing this year. You're not going to frustrate him. He's just he's a goofy guy, and he's a character. I love him. So I don't think there's anything you're going to do to make him play not as good. So you have to look at, okay, well, who can I shut down that's actually a player, not a goalie? Well, you've got Riley, you've got Tavares, you've got Matthews, you've got Nylander, and who am I missing? Marner. So to Montreal's 3, Caulfield, Toffoli, and Suzuki, you've got Montreal has 5 players to really, really worry about. And beyond that, Toronto has depth, guys. Toronto has really good depth, and playoffs series are won by depth. So even if you shut down these 5 guys, we'll take Riley off the list because it is what it is. Okay, he'll do good even if he shadows. That's how good he is. So let's just ignore him for now. Nylander is whatever. We'll take him off the list as well just for now. Let's just stick with Tavares, Marner, and Matthews. I think you can shadow Marner pretty good and frustrate him. I think Montreal will do a very good job at that, and Montreal can be a very successful playing the shadow or shutdown game. They're even regardless of roster, Montreal's always been pretty good at that. Think back to 2010 when they did it to Washington with Ovi, and then Pittsburgh in round 2 with Crosby. So they have that ability, and usually small, fast players are quite good at that. Montreal has a lot of them. So Marner, you can shadow pretty good. I don't know if you're going to be able to shadow Matthews. There's too much other threats on the ice that you can't. I don't think you can give your full attention to Matthews or your full attention to Tavares. If you're spending all your time shutting down Marner, you're going to have gaps somewhere else with Matthews and with Tavares. And maybe you choose Matthews and be like, let's just shut down Matthews and we'll try to mitigate the rest of the line. But you still got Marner and you still got Tavares, and you just like, I'm not saying that they always play together. I'm just saying in general, Montreal cannot play a shutdown game to their fullest potential against the Maple Leafs. I just don't think they match up well. I don't think Montreal's play style competes with the Maple Leafs. I just don't see it. Montreal can't play that game against the Maple Leafs. I think the only way that a team is going to beat the Maple Leafs is if it's a bigger team, they play more physical, and they also extremely offensively talented. I'm thinking a team like, I don't know, Florida or something like that. Florida is so offensively gifted that I just see them, and big, I just see them just kind of wrecking Toronto. The matchup there is odd. So, Canadiens fans, if you're watching this, don't be shocked if the Canadiens lose. Like if you're genuinely thinking that the Montreal Canadiens are going to win this series, I don't mean this to sound offensive, but I think you're being 100% completely biased. If you are the Maple Leafs fans watching this and you think that they're going to absolutely stomp the Montreal Canadiens, that is not a biased opinion. It's just really not. The Maple Leafs are in a whole other level than the Montreal Canadiens. I'm trying to be completely objective as possible here. I obviously want my Montreal Canadiens to win. I want them to destroy the Maple Leafs. I would love that. I would love nothing more as a Canadiens fan to see that. But I need to be realistic. I need to be a realist here and look at the cards and know that it ain't gonna happen. Know your cards, guys. And it just ain't happening. It just ain't happening. I firmly believe that the Montreal Canadiens will not win definitely more than 2 games. I'm saying 1 game, Toronto in 5. That is my prediction. And I'm not even angry at Montreal, really. Like, I am in a sense, but I'm not at the same time, just because I'm not going to be surprised, really. You lost a coach halfway through the season. You bring in the interim coach who was the assistant, and it's not like you can just flick a switch and just change the system, and you can't do that. You have to do it gradually, and that's kind of what he's done. And you can do that if it's early enough in the season, but not when it happened for Montreal. So I don't think the players, I don't know, it's a bit of a mix with the Montreal Canadiens. And then you've got other little things to worry about, like Joel Armia, who is one of my favorite players on the Montreal Canadiens, but he annoys me. He is so irresponsible and takes the most ridiculous penalties, mostly in the offensive end, when you don't need to take those risks and you don't need to be super aggressive with your stick. And there he is, slashing and hooking, and then when he's in his own end, he's shooting the puck over the glass and getting delay game penalties. He's so irresponsible, and it drives me nuts because I really like him. But that's also going to sink Montreal, because they're very irresponsible and they'll get penalties. And like Petrie and Armia, the penalties that they take sometimes just drive me crazy, and it's going to get them in trouble, and they're going to go down, and it's going to hurt them. I'm not saying that the Maple Leafs need special teams to win this series, but I'm just saying it's going to be a catalyst to their success for sure. So Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. If you're a Leafs fan, if you're a Canadiens fan, if you're a fan of another team and you're watching this, hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Leave your opinion down below in the comment section. Make your predictions. Who do you think is going to win this series and in how many games? And do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know. Did I miss anything as well? Please let me know down below in the comment section. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to be doing all of the series previews and recaps throughout the playoffs. And I'm going to do a full bracket prediction also. And speaking of brackets, guys, down below in the description, you will find a link to the Post to Post official league on the NHL site where you can fill out your bracket. There's not going to be any prizes. This is strictly for bragging rights. And fill out your bracket. I don't think it's available yet, for sure, because games are still ongoing. But you can fill that out. You can join the league. The password is also down below in the description. It's kind of a funny one. It's my favorite thing in the world, as you'll see if you scroll down. So love it if you could join the league. Love it if you could hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. And guys, have a great start to the playoffs coming up, and I'll talk to you real soon. Adios.